I definitely don't understand the logic of anybody that would possibly vote for Joe Biden. He really doesn't know where he is right now. I could not imagine him trying to stand up to China, which is a worldwide threat. Meanwhile, he supports essentially the rioters around the United States, and Kamala Harris is going to take over for him within a year. Essentially, the DNC got exactly who they wanted into the presidency should they win. It wasn't the choice of the voters. She didn't even last, the first two rounds of the Democratic primaries, and yet she is going to take over for Biden as president within a couple of years. Meanwhile, you have the country on fire, and it wasn't even mentioned during the Democratic National Convention, not one time. Meanwhile, everybody is calling them protesters as they burn down businesses. How does burning down a car dealership with Black Lives Matter posted out there, how is this commensurate with Black Lives Mattering? Is this the message that they're sending? Hey, even if you support us, it's never going to be enough. We're going to burn you down. Keep burning everything down to the ground. In Portland, Ted Wheeler promised that they would get things in order should the federal troops guarding the courthouse leave. Yes, there are still federal troops in the courthouse, but guess where they've gone? They've gone into the local neighborhoods. Meanwhile, they continue to applaud these people. And Ted Wheeler also has designated some of our federal funds, according to what I heard on the Dark Horse podcast, has designated some of our federal funds specifically go to Black families. How is this not racism? Favoring one group over another specifically because of their race. It makes me absolutely irate. It is racism that is appearing in America, and the Democrats are trying to castigate the Republicans and Trump as being racist. Meanwhile, Joe Biden invokes racial politics when he says, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, that away. There's no racial divide there, is there? Oh yeah, black people are a monolith and are far less diverse than Latinos, he also stated. Let me make that clear. That's not my statement. Yeah, Joe, because black people are also supposed to vote as one block. Look, I don't dislike Joe Biden. I don't think he's a terrible, terrible person. But come on, how can you possibly vote for a Democrat now? Look, I voted for Democrats my whole life, and I am done with it. The party has basically lost me forever unless they have an incredibly inspiring candidate that doesn't try to divide us along racial lines, which is exactly what's taken place. They are trying to throw our country into disarray, and the mail-in voting scheme that they have been advancing over and over, and when mailboxes get removed because there's no traffic going to them, then they're crying conspiracy on a continual basis, along with the fact that they tried to impeach Trump over something that Biden also did in terms of the Ukraine, bragging publicly, and it's on video, about the fact that he got another Ukrainian prosecutor fired. If you don't replace him, we're not going to give you the billion-dollar loan. Gee, I wonder whether or not that is tantamount to bribery. How could anybody possibly vote for a Democrat this year? I just don't get it. They are in favor of all the looting and riots because they don't mention it. Silence is violence? Yes, your silence, in this case, does lead to violence. You have people going around waving their fist as a black power symbol and basically trying to coerce other people to do it. What is this? This is America. We are supposed to be able to have our own beliefs. Instead, we are being overrun by fascists that demand that we acquiesce to their points of view, or else they will get into our faces, or else they will cancel us publicly. They will try to get us fired if you say the wrong thing. This is not America. America is about differences of opinion. When you get everybody and you try to force everybody onto one side, that is cause for great concern. This is what happens, what leads to the Maoist revolutions that took place, to the communist revolutions that took place. What's great about America is that we have differences of opinion, and that creates the valley in which we reside. I heard this analogy from Brett Weinstein, but you have like a marble and it traverses the valley. And on one side you have conservatives, and on the other side you have people from the left that are trying to advance their position. And the homeostasis, the place that the marble is most likely to be, is somewhere in the middle of that valley. But you have forces right now that are trying to push that marble over the edge. And into free fall, so that it just falls down the mountain and crumbles, because that mountain is America, and we cannot allow that to happen. Their ideas are that 2 + 2 = 5. They are lying about everything. Everything is a mostly peaceful protest. I am tired of it. I am tired of it. And so I urge that everybody, if you think about it, if you're even on the fence, just send somebody this video, if you know somebody that's on the fence, to vote red, because it's the one thing that might possibly save our nation, is a massive rebuke of this leftism, totalitarianism, fascism. They claim to be anti-fascist. No, these are the fascists. These are the people that are waking up Portlanders at 3 o'clock in the morning, yelling at them to get out into the streets and to support them. These are the same people that are blinding federal officers with lasers. I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. I had my other reasons at the end of last year why I've decided to switch away from the Democratic Party. This only adds to it. Everything that's going on right now, you are intentionally shutting down the economy. Sweden has done just fine with the coronavirus. They've essentially might have developed herd immunity. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case, but you're going to shut down the economy and you're going to create more deaths with the number of suicides. Do you know how hard it is for most people to stay home with their children on an ongoing basis when they aren't going to school because the pussies on the left are too scared to send them there? How about sending in a 25-year-old proctor, and if you have an older teacher, maybe she can teach via Zoom, via Skype, but you have to have kids together in a classroom to interact with each other. This is going to massively destroy children. They need to learn how to get along with each other. This is part of being in school. This is part of the reason that we pay for these services. And anybody that's paying property taxes and you don't have school and you shut down the schools, what are you paying the property taxes for? You are sending the small businesses under. You're not allowing them to stay open. But meanwhile, Walmart and all these huge conglomerates are sucking up all their business. Just sucking it up through that straw. And what kept them afloat is disappearing until there's nothing left in the bottom of the glass, and these multinational conglomerates have all the business that mom and pop used to have because you're forcing them to stay closed. This cannot stand. Walk away from the Democratic Party. This is my second edition of this. Didn't know it would be, but this is the case. Share this video with somebody that you think would benefit from it. Peace and blessings to everybody. Feel free to subscribe. Peace.